size. We've got different seeds, different spoons to help you choose the right size to get the right amount of seeds. And if you have any questions about it, just talk to your nearby master gardener. There will be one back there. All right, as to what to expect today, we're going to get started with our presentation. If you have questions, your presenter will guide you as to whether or not they want to take them at the time. We'll let Deb decide, or if you want to wait until the end, okay? We always welcome discussion, though, at the end of the presentation, and we will, of course, encourage everybody to use the seed swap table. All right. We're going to get started here. I'm going to turn it over to Deb. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
Sure, thank you. Thank you to the library and our tech guy. What's your name?
Nick.
Nick. Okay, so you set this all up for me. All right, well, we might as well get started. So, y'all have been working hard all summer. And you started to pick some stuff off your vines and dig stuff up out of your dirt. And what are you going to do with it now, right? Okay. Well, why do we want to preserve food? Why do we want to preserve any of that kind of food? No, I'm asking the questions. You can forget what she said. I'm asking the questions. No, so why do you want to preserve food?
So we have something to enjoy in the winter.
Yeah.
Walks
So what else? To what? What did you say? Because it what?
Because it's great to have something yummy to eat in the winter.
Yeah, because even the stuff you buy in the store isn't yummy anymore. So
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All right, so that's good. So out of season. How many of you use insecticides or herbicides in your garden? Okay, so another benefit, you don't have that present on your food. Do you want to use food that is grown here, or would you rather buy something that came from you don't know where, and it's been on a truck for you don't know how long, and was the cooler working the whole way, or so there might be another option of why you want to preserve your own food. And how about emergencies? There's a lot of flooding, a lot of hurricanes. We all remember COVID and how quickly the toilet paper disappeared, right? All right. Well, we don't want our food to disappear, so you might want to stockpile some of it. All right. And besides that, it's really fun, and it does give you a really nice sense of accomplishment. All right. So how can we do this? How can we preserve all that good food? Well, the main things we're going to talk about tonight are freezing, dehydrating, and canning. And we have a special guest with us tonight, so we've added freeze drying as well. But there are some other ways, like pickling. You can take your fruits and things like that, or even your peppers, and make jellies and jams. You can ferment things. You can ferment just about anything, cabbage, whatever. Smoking and curing. And our favorite topic of the night, saving seeds. That's a good way to preserve the harvest. Because guess what? If you save a few of those seeds now, you've got seeds to plant for next year, right? So looking a little ahead. All right, this is going to apply no matter whether you're doing fruits, veggies, or herbs. These are things that you really need to pay attention to when you're doing this processes. So first of all, you're going to want to use tested recipes, and I highly recommend using USDA, or you have some handouts that have some good references on there. The one that has the little fall leaves, there's some good references on where you can find some good, reliable recipes and such. A couple of your universities are good resources for that as well. All right, and if it's your first time trying to do any of this stuff, please read some directions. Find how-to on the beginning of some of those pages, and read through that real good, because you'll find out that elevation matters. You'll find out that the kind of equipment you use matters. Headspace matters. You may not know what that means, but we'll get to that too. And then another thing you want to consider is, where am I going to put it? Okay. If you're going to freeze it, do you have a freezer? Is your freezer big enough? How are you going to arrange it? Do you have other things in your freezer as well? If you're gonna do canning, do you have room for all those cans? Where are you gonna keep those cans? Because you can't leave them sit on the counter out in the sunshine, let me tell you. Okay, so storage, you're gonna wanna consider where you wanna put all the stuff after you preserve it. And then is cost a factor? And I'm sure Kata can address that when she talks about freeze drying, because any of this stuff is expensive as a startup. If you're gonna freeze things, obviously you're gonna need a freezer. If you don't have one, that's gonna cost you money. If you're gonna do canning, you're gonna need to buy the jars and the pots and the pans and the utensils that go with that. Drying, dehydrator, those can run anywhere from kind of not expensive and not very well working to very expensive and high quality products that they produce. Okay, and then freeze drying, the ones I see at Big R are way over 3,000, so I don't know how. And that's just for, it's not very big either. All right, and whenever possible, always preserve fresh, locally grown food for the best quality and nutritional value. And for those of you, I don't see anybody in here that's not from here, so I'm sure you all know about Millburgers and Maros and Mussos and all those guys out on Highway 50. So if you can't grow it yourself, right now is an opportune time. They've got peaches, they're roasting chilies already. So if you need any of that kind of stuff, and you didn't have a really good garden, like even my zucchini did not grow this year,
Wow.
you can go out there and buy it. It's homegrown. All right. All right. So food safety. Let's talk about food safety. It's very important. Bacteria is very dangerous, and you won't like it if you ingest them. So you can encounter, if you don't do these things right, like read the instructions, use good equipment, use good recipes, you can very likely get some Salmonella, Escherichia E. coli or coli, which is otherwise known as E. coli, Clostridium botulinum, which is a botulism. That's really very prevalent in canning if it's not done right. Listeria and Campylobacter. Viruses, norovirus, yeah, foodborne illness, not pleasant. And when I tell you to get really good food, this is an example. Oh, shoot. Okay, this is not my pointer. There we go. Sorry, not mine. Didn't know how to work it. This is not a good example of what you want to be preserved. All right, that is actually what's going to happen to your food if you don't preserve it. That's where that bacteria, the salmonella, the E. coli, the botulism, that's what they do to food. Okay, and that's why you get sick when you eat it. So food safety, extremely important. All right. Why is pathogen control critical? Well, first of all, it'll keep you from getting sick. All right, foodborne illness. It's going to inhibit the growth of spoilage and pathogenic microorganisms, and it maintains food safety, nutritional value, and desirable sensory characteristics. I don't know about you, but I don't think I'd even want to touch that picture I showed you a minute ago. It's like, yeah, my dog wouldn't even get that one. All right. So how do these preservation methods control these pathogens? Okay, well, what do the pathogens need? They need moisture, they need food. And so if you're drying them out, you're going to remove the water, the bacteria and other microbes need to grow. If you're pickling and using vinegar, you're going to lower the food's pH, and then that way you're going to control the pH levels and create an environment that is hostile to most microbes. Canning, heat. A lot of these pathogens do not succumb to heat, and then that's why you're going to need to use the right equipment, because your water bath canning is not going to kill those pathogens. You're going to need to use the pressure cooker one, because you can elevate the heat to a temperature that will actually kill those pathogens. Okay? And then you can add chemical preservatives again, and they will inhibit the microbial growth. All right, so freezing basically it's not going to kill a lot of your pathogens, but it will slow down the enzyme activity. It does preserve freshness, nutrients, and texture. Sometimes texture does suffer as a result of freezing. You need to have it needs to stay in the freezer at a 0 temperature or below 0 degrees. And if you're going to do large batches of stuff, don't put it all in the freezer all at once and have like this layer on top of this layer, because guess what? Those ones in the middle aren't going to freeze, and you've created a wonderful environment. You did all that work, you followed all the directions, but you didn't kill them, and those are not going to survive, the ones in the middle. So make sure that you don't overload your freezer when you put that stuff in there. All right? So freezing fruit, you're definitely going to need to pre-treat it. All right? And you can use ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C. You can buy all this stuff at Walmart. You can order it on Amazon. You can take your vitamin C tablets, and if you don't have anything real handy, crush them up and throw some in there. It's literally vitamin C. Ascorbic acid and mixtures, those are more for commercial preparations. Your citric acid in a crystalline form, or you could use straight lemon juice with a little mixture of water. That works as well. Now, there's different ways to do a freezing fruit. One thing is called a dry pack, and it's good for small fruits, and you don't use sugar. So basically, what you're going to do is take the fruit, put it in your container, and throw it in the freezer.
Do you usually wash them first?
Yes. I was going to say that, and I thought, well, that hopefully is obvious, but yes, no, you did that. You definitely do want to wash it. I should have put that on that first. Make sure you wash it, and that does show. If you look through some of these references, it does tell you step by step. To wash it, cut off the bad parts. It tells you step by step exactly what you have to do. All right. A tray pack, it makes it easier to remove. So let's say you have a whole bunch of strawberries, and you want to freeze them. And if you throw them all in a big container and throw in the freezer, and let's say all you really want is a strawberry milkshake, and you have a half-gallon size container of frozen strawberries. Well, you can either try chopping them up and getting them out, or you can make a strawberry milkshakes for the entire neighborhood, or whatever. But if you take each one of those and lay it side by, on a flat tray and put it in the freezer, then put it in your container, now you can just take what you need, and you don't have to disturb the entire batch. Okay? Sugar pack, that's when you're going to want add some sugar to it, and kind of just gently mix it up until the sugar's dissolved, and then you can put it in your container and freeze it. Syrup, you can use anything from a very light percentage to a very heavy syrup, and it kind of depends on, a lot of people are diabetic, so you're not going to want to use a heavy syrup, because that's just basically sugar and water. It's boiled down until it starts to get a little syrup. And you can crush or puree your food as well. All right, so this is what I was talking about here. So like you would just lay these out, cut them up, lay them out, freeze them, and then put them in here. Because see, if you just throw them all in here, they're going to be all stuck together. And then if here it kind of looks like they put a little sugar on those and just threw them in there. And then here's the one where you would actually use the syrup and use the syrup. So this is what I'm talking about. This is rhubarb. So I'm either going to have to make a pie or whatever. I was a little more cautious with the blueberries. And, yeah, anyway, that's my demonstration on frozen fruit.
So how do you keep the blueberries sticking together?
Those, I didn't, if you wanted to do them individual, you would put them like the tray on the top. You'd have to take
Oh,
each
yeah.
little berry and put it on a tray, and then stick that in the freezer. And then once they're frozen, now you can put them in a bag, and they won't stick together.
They'll break apart.
And because those actually have sugar in them, they will break apart.
Right. So it seems like freezing is really easy. What's the advantage or difference or between just freezing it or canning it?
For me, it's time. You know, do I have, or do I have the quantity?
And to buy all that stuff for canning is, I mean, does the canned stuff taste better, last longer than the frozen stuff?
Each process affects the taste and the texture of the produce.
And down by us, we have power outages often, so we tend to can more than we. Because before I used to just freeze everything and now.
There's that.
Okay.
Good.
So if you think about it, you've had canned corn and frozen corn. So think about which one you like better. I like frozen corn better, but I still can corn for the whole perishable factor. And I always reuse powder where I live frequently, and if it's out a long time, I just say, well, let's have a barbecue.
Some things you have to kind of parboil them a little, right? Yeah.
Then you
Before
want to
you
cover
freeze
that?
them,
Like,
before you freeze them, like corn, right?
Yeah, we'll get to that, in the veggie section, but, and again, this is just a quick kind of nickel tour of each kind of method to show you what's available. And as you get into, the best one to do on here is the, CSU Preserve Smart, and if you look that up, oh, maybe that's one you can do for me when we're done here. Okay, I know you can find it.
Oh, I see.
And that's gonna give you, if you'll go on to Preserve Smart, and it'll tell you, pick a vegetable, pick a fruit, pick whatever, and you pick that, and when you go, let's say, what are we talking about, corn? So we go to corn, and then it's gonna do, you wanna dry it, you wanna freeze it, you wanna can it. And then you click on canning, and it's gonna tell you exactly, step by step by step by step. It's gonna give you a list of all the equipment you need, and et cetera, et cetera. All right, we'll go on now to veggies. Now, veggies, most veggies, there is no absolute on any of this, trust me. What about the time you say it's like this for everything? It's not. So, yes, and here you go. So blanching, a lot of things are used, you'll need to do that for a lot of vegetables, but not every vegetable. And again, so that's gonna stop your enzyme activity, prevent loss of color, destroy some of the bacteria, and it'll soften them up a little bit and make them easier to pack. Now, blanching is crucial depending on the size and the vegetable, and this is where your elevation is gonna come into play, and so much other things. All right, so for water blanching, you're gonna use 1 gallon water per 1 pound of vegetable. All right, so get your water boiling, put your veggie in there. Then you're going to start timing it when the water returns to boiling. Right. Then there's steam blanching. It's going to take longer. Microwave blanching doesn't save time. It doesn't do anything. Don't use it. And then don't even consider. But anyway, and then cooling it. So, and we'll get to a chart here in a minute. So let's say you have to blanch it for say 3 minutes. Well, you're gonna cool it for 3 minutes as well, and that's basically in an ice bath. All right, that's what cooling is all about. All right, so here we go. So this is why you're gonna want to know your elevation of your kitchen, and again on your I'll have them pull up, Preserve Smart, and I'll show you how to find that out. So you can go to, Preserve Smart, and at the bottom, there's a little link, and you can type in your address, it'll tell you exactly the elevation of your kitchen. Alright, so, my kitchen is at exactly 5,000 feet. So, if I was to do some medium asparagus, I would need to blanch it for 4 minutes. So then how long would I need to cool it for? 4 minutes. And I got 2 pounds of asparagus, so how much water do I need? How much? 2 gallons. 2 gallons. Alright, good. Just tracking, just checking. Alright, and then you're gonna wanna try to my asparagus comes out all crazy. There's little ones and big ones, some that grow outside the fence and all sorts of stuff. I tried to get some that have, wow, some, kind of all the same. So, anyway, that's some asparagus there. And it does really make a difference to blanch it. So it does keep the color, and it also retains the flavor.
And how does the texture? Does this texture
Yeah.
stay? I've
It's
never
not,
frozen.
yeah, it's not that bad.
Okay.
And what I usually do with that is I'll steam it. Once I open it, I'll put it in the steamer.
Doesn't taste like canned asparagus, I hope.
Yeah. It tastes very good, actually. Very good.
Ooh, that's cool.
Alright. So what did I just tell you? You do not freeze peppers. Freeze without blanching to preserve the crispness. So now, your peppers, you don't want to blanch them. You're just gonna throw them in the freezer. Okay?
Do you try to put your stuff in individual, like what you think you'll use at one time?
Yes,
Yeah.
I get to the point where I also try to write down how much it weighs. I usually weigh stuff out because there's just me and my son, so
Yeah.
I try to package it so that I just use the one serving.
And what seal meal is this?
Huh?
Is this like what packaging? Where do you get that
Food Saver.
Food Saver?
Yeah, it's Food Saver from Sam's Club or something like that. Sorry, I didn't keep these on ice. Alright, so now do you see kind of why you need to know your elevation, because it's gonna determine your time, your times. Alright. Same thing with, your peppers now, you can do the dry pack, which basically you're just going to clean them and put them in a bag and throw them in the freezer. That's what I did with those.
I can imagine too that would make them easier to chop or for the preparation.
With, like, after you.
As they're, well, after they're frozen. Oh,
Yeah, they'll be a little soft. You can feel actually this one, you can feel this one's kind of getting soft. It's already soft. And like these, I'd probably just chop them up or pan roast them or something like that.
So is all this kind of information, that would be what we would find on this
Preserve
CSU
Smart.
Preserve
Yeah,
Smart.
that came straight out of Preserve
Oh,
Smart.
yeah, okay.
I usually have things, I usually have credits for that. No, a lot of cutting and pasting on this presentation. Okay, so, and, not sure what those are up there. Anyway, that's kind of what you would use, like I said, to blanch. You put them in the little steamer pot, stick them in the boiling water, and then that way when you pull it out, you know, you're not having to fish them out. Then you can take that and put it in the bath, water bath. All right, freezing herbs. I'm gonna go through this. Basically, wash, drain, pat them dry. Then you're gonna take and just put them in a freezer wrap and put them in a bag and seal it. Tray pack, same thing. You're just gonna lay them out on a nice flat tray, stick them in there. When they get a little bit firm, you're gonna throw them in. I'm gonna try to remove as much air as possible. I don't freeze herbs. They're mushy. They don't taste good. You can if you want. Follow the directions.
I did dill in it,
Huh?
really, I did dill.
Oh,
I
dill?
froze it and it really,
Did it do
it
okay?
was good, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did, and I put basil in ice trays.
Okay, that's,
That
yeah.
worked out well.
And here you go. You can freeze them in water.
Yeah.
So. And some of the herbs that are really good for freezing is basil, chives, dill, lemon balm, lemongrass, mint. I didn't have any luck with freezing mint. It just got mushy. I didn't like it. Oregano, parsley, sage, savory thyme, tarragon. All right, dehydrating and drying. So again, we're going to remove the moisture so the microorganisms can't grow and spoil the food. It takes less storage space than frozen or canned. Your flavors are more concentrated. Excuse me. You do need good air circulation and temperature control. Very important. That's why a dehydrator is the recommended best way to dry fruit. You can do it in the oven. It takes a lot longer. If you've got kids, you got to leave the door open. Your oven is on. Probably not a good combo. And again, I'm just gonna if I do this again, I'm just taking out the whole microwave thing because it just doesn't work for preserving food. And then you can do things out in the sun, but again, you're subject to outside weather conditions. So
I use my air fryer,
oh, okay.
and I have dehydrated strawberries and kiwi.
Oh,
I
nice.
mean, it takes a long time. You don't do a big batch, but you know.
Just doing like a really low setting, low
Yeah,
temperature.
yeah. I think the instruction book even has some. But yeah, it seems like it runs forever. But
What does the kiwi taste like?
And this is the book that came with my dehydrator. And so it will tell you, like, there's a whole list of, what is this, fruits, and then these are veggies. This is fruits and veggies. And so basically you're gonna do your fruits. Fruits are 135 and vegetables are 125. And then it's gonna tell you how much time it takes for each, product. And then there's recipes. And I don't speak these other languages, that's why.
come on.
I have a hard enough time with English anymore. Okay. Alright. Same thing, fruit, air, heat, air, dry, good air circulation. Make sure it's nice and ripe. You're gonna pre-treat it. Again, you're gonna need to pre-treat it. Sorbic acid, citric acid, lemon juice. And then once it is dry, once you take it out of the dehydrator, you're gonna need to basically condition it or cure it. And you just put it in a Ziploc or a plastic bag tub and just make sure that there's no moisture that clings to it. If you do notice any moisture, put it back in the dehydrator until it right? Then put them in sealed containers and store in a cool, dry place. And
what do you think about using a little desiccant?
Oh, like little packets of
Yeah,
bottles
in your
and
dried
stuff.
food. From the,
I'll
look in there.
if you mean to store it,
Yeah.
like afterwards. Well, theoretically, if you do it right, you shouldn't need to.
Okay.
But you can. So here's some lemons, here's some limes, here's some oranges, and I just did these. If you wanna, I think we're gonna have food later, so if you want some, you can take some out. And so I just did slices. So like this is a lime. I'll actually just pass one around so you can kind of see what it feels like. And then if y'all want, you can pick which one.
So what would you use this for? In the state.
You can put it in like your water. If you have a glass of water, you can put that in there. Or tea, or some hot tea, and just put that in there. And then you can also do the end pieces. If you do these end pieces, or the rinds, you can like put these in a food processor or something. Put that in your hot tea. So now you have like black tea with orange.
So
Because that's where all of the oil is in the rind. So once that rehydrates, now you've got that orange flavor to your tea.
So once you dehydrate it, it's okay just to be stored in those jars, huh?
No, yeah, I would, if you dehydrate it,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I could actually, I kind of clean things up. You should see some of the things I store my food in. I didn't like make it look good. They're like, ew. Here's another thing. Oh, we haven't got to veggies. I'll wait for that one. And then, let's see. This is a pineapple. I just did pineapple. This is my first try at pineapple. These are a little more sticky. You can, if you want, I didn't bring any tongs or anything, but if you don't mind, you can just pass it around and take one. I'm leaving you out, aren't I? You can just take one and they're really good, but anyway, they're not super dry like that lime should. All right, so those are dried fruits, right? Okay, I think I got all the dried fruits. And you can eat the, if you want to eat the lime, you can just eat it. It's just but you'll get the flavor. It's very potent.
The pineapple's good.
It is good, isn't it? All right, same thing with drying vegetables, same thing. Except now you're just using the veggies. Okay, again, you're gonna blanch them, stop your enzyme action, and then after they're dry, you're gonna put them in a airtight container. And then here's a whole collection of, so this is like whole peppers. These are onions. This is onions. Celery. I buy a thing of celery and it's like, I don't want to throw it away, so I just throw it in the dehydrator. There's some leaves in there. What I would do with that is probably crush it and put it in a soup or something. And then there's some little ones that I slice like the rhubarb. So you could just throw those in the soup or whatever. This is garlic. This is the garlic that came out of my garden. After I dry it, I grind it up into powder. With the peppers, what I'll do is I'll dehydrate them and then I'll crush them. And if I have, like, I'll measure this out, like this is 25 grams. So if I got leftovers, then I'll just like kind of like throw it all together. And now I've got a mix, like a hot pepper mix. If you smell this, don't take a big whiff, okay? It says like it says 23, so this is like 2 years old, but let me tell you, it is extremely still potent. Okay, and then horseradish. So I sliced it, and then I would just I just tried this year. I made some primary for New Year's or something.
What is horseradish?
It's a root. It comes from a root.
Oh,
It's a plant, and you just use the root. It's hot. It's like a radish.
right, yeah.
Anyway, so I rehydrated it. I just soaked it in water. Then I put it in my blender and added vinegar, and voila. And then I had a really good hot cocktail sauce for my shrimp, and then I had really good horseradish for my friend there. Wow. Okay, and then I grew some mushrooms, some blue oyster mushrooms, and I cooked them. The first flush, I cooked them, and I don't think I did it right because I just really wasn't impressed at all. And I got a big second flush, and I didn't want to just waste them. So guess what? I dehydrated it, and now I got mushroom powder. So now I can just add mushroom powder, just whatever. I'm gonna leave these up here if you wanna look at them, you can. You can open them. It is food I eat, so I mean, I don't care if you open it and sniff it, just don't lick your finger and stick it in there. Just saying, right? I'm not as coordinated as Kat, where she brings it all fancy and separated.
Those are separated, they're in separate jars, mine are in bags. It's all good.
Okay.
But I did bring paper plates.
Well, you can use your paper plates if you want to put some of those on your whatever we're eating. All right. Drying herbs, really super easy. You just pick them off. You know, you're gonna pick them. Leaves, you want to harvest them before the flowers bloom. If you're gonna dry flowers, then harvest them before they're fully open. Really easy. You see pictures of it all the time, where you just cut them off, kind of wash them, dry them, tie a string around them, and hang them up. Voila, you just dried your herbs. Okay. So air drying probably works the best. Your dehydrator, you can see the celery. It dries it out a lot if you use a dehydrator on your herbs, but it depends on how dry you want. And again, not recommended for the microwave. All right, canning. This is it's going to do the same thing we've been talking about all night. It's going to destroy those enzymes, protect your food, keep it nice so that you can eat it. You can see some of those marks. I don't know if they're marked. Some of that stuff is like from 2023, and it's still good, especially the dry stuff. I use it all the time. All right, again, wash, carefully select, wash your food, peel it, use your acceptable jars and lids. Add your lemon juice, use, whatever it says. And in case nobody, if you don't know, they make the ball jars and the lid come with the little bits that go on top, and then you screw these on. And so anyway, and they come in different sizes, but that's where it gets expensive because then you got to buy all that stuff. And the outside rings you can use it over and over, but don't put them in the dishwasher because they'll rust. So hand wash those. And then the little flat ones, one time use. I kind of use them over again. I gotta make sure I don't put a new pack for tonight. But I will use them if they're not really damaged or bent. I'll use them just to store some of my dry stuff because I'm frugal that way. Right? All right, again, same. If you process your jars, you don't really have to process your jars because of our altitude here. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you really don't have to process your jars. And Laura can confirm that. That's what I think. All right, so hot pack. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to pre-treat we've done all the prep work, right? So now you're going to take and you're going to put your treated fruit and the syrup or the juice, and you're going to put it in a pan and boil it. And then you're going to take the fruit out, put it in the jar, and then put the juice on top. And you're going to leave a ½ inch of headspace. And what is headspace? Headspace is the amount of air that's left in the jar. So, like if you can see, there's liquid in here, and it comes up to a certain level. And from that to the top of the jar is your headspace. Right? And then, if you don't have the fancy tools, if you find one of these jars and you find see these marks, these where they screw on? If you kind of find the part where they're kind of even, from the top to this first one is a ½ inch, from the top to the second one is ½ inch, and then like if you have this style, if you go down to here where it starts to flare out, that's a 1 inch. So if you don't have the actual little tool that you'll see in a minute, you can always just go off the jar. Okay? Raw pack, it's the same but different. I don't say that. So anyway, you're gonna boil the syrup, juice, or water, Except now you're gonna take the fruit, the raw fruit that's been treated, and you're gonna put it in the jar, and then you're gonna put the boiling water on top of the fruit. You're not gonna boil the fruit this time, okay? But you're gonna still boil the juice. Take out the air bubbles, leave half-inch headspace, and then you're gonna do your. All right, so now there's two types of canning, water bath and pressure. Anything that's acidic is, you can use the water bath canner, your fruits, pickles, anything that's over 4 pH, over 4.6 pH, you're gonna use a pressure canner. Veggies, meats, poultry. I don't do that because, it's a lot of work. And then you can kind of see on base, 7 is neutral on a pH scale. So so you can see where the box is. Anything below that, that 4.6, you can use the water bath. Anything above that, you're going to want to use a pressure canner. All right. So we kind of already talked about that. And again, this is straight out of the book. You can read it. If you don't seal, if they don't seal, there's something you can either just eat it right away, put it in the fridge, use it within a week, or you can freeze it, or if you reprocess it, you have to start from the very beginning and do it all over. Okay? Again, the botulism doesn't die unless you have over 240 degrees temperature. It's the only way you're going to kill it. And the only way you can kill it is in the pressure canner. Okay? And then you have to know what your altitude is, because pressure increases temperature 10 psi at 240. So every time you go up, your pressure is going to decrease. Okay? All right. I'm not going to read all that. So this is your pressure. There's two kinds. There's a dial, and then there's this little pip pot. It's a weighted thing that bubbles and lets you know. You've probably all used it, won't you? And then this is your water bath over here. Oops. Sorry. Here's your water bath, your can. Here's some utensils that are very handy. Some more useful things. That's your little headspace counter there. If you don't have that nifty little thing, you would hold that over the edge and it'll measure for you. And then that's where I showed you just now how to use the jar to figure out your distance. Okay, altitude. Okay, water bath, altitude is going to determine how long you boil something. All right? And your pressure one is going to determine how much pressure. And here's a little chart. They have all these beautiful charts, okay? So, like I said, my kitchen is at 5,000. So if I'm going to do a water bath, then I'm at 5,000. I have to do it at 10 minutes. Or if I'm going to do this guy, I'm at 5,000. So if I use the weighted gauge, I can't hold still, 15 minutes. And if I use the dial, 13 minutes. So altitude is going to matter as well. You have to know that. Okay? Labeling. Already had that. I didn't label anything, so hopefully I told you it's the right stuff. Oh, covered. And that wasn't supposed to happen. Hey, your thing didn't work right. Where's my tech guy?
What are you trying to get?
Dude, you deleted my animation.
It shouldn't have deleted, but
It did. And so for the grand finale, Kata's name was supposed to be twirling in.
it's because it comes through when it gets emailed as a Google Docs.
Oh.
That's why. Like, I mean, you could twirl in front of it if you
No,
want.
not me. I bring my little twirl.
Does anyone want to cut stuff open?
Do you want to pull up that website?
Okay, come on up.
This is your website that you want to?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
And just real quick while she's doing that, that was just really quick, and I ran out of time because I get to talking. But can we go back to that one real quick?
You want to go back to your slide?
Yeah, that last page there, that one. No.
Is there just one scissors?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I was just gonna help it.
Okay, so, yeah, everything I learned, I took Laura's class. Laura's our extension person, food and, what is your title, food and some
Family and consumer science.
Yeah, that one. So she offers these classes and she will take you on a deep dive on every single, so you're gonna start with food, basics. She'll take you through jams and jellies, water bath, pressure, and pickling. So it's like a 5-week course or I don't know. It's every couple weeks or something. Okay, so if you want to do this, I highly recommend you take these courses from Laura, because she does a really, really super good job teaching it. The first time I taught this class, I didn't know anything about it. And so I was running around like, I'm okay, I know Michelle does this, and I know Dan does this. So I was like, can I borrow some of your stuff? Because I never done it. So I was like borrowing all this stuff so I could have a presentation. But everything you see here tonight is what I've done. So I'm by no means an expert, but I have begun to dabble somewhat successfully. And if you're gonna fail, that's okay. Just keep it anyway, unless it's really bad. Don't watch it. No, don't go that far. You know what I'm saying? All right. So now we can go to the food group.
Can I ask a jelly question?
Yeah.
Has anyone done the low sugar gel when they're making jams or jellies?
I have looked.
Okay, yeah, neither, we're thinking about trying it this year, but
So I can do it.
Yeah.
It works and doesn't. Okay, now we can go back to foods. So here you go. Now you can do this. So this is what I'm talking about. So this is our preserve. This is from CSU Extension. So let's choose a fruit. And I don't know, pick one. Somebody pick one. Peaches. Peaches. All right, do peaches. All right, there you go. So are we gonna freeze, dry, can, make jelly, or pickle them? So freeze. Okay, what are we gonna do? Voila. So it's gonna tell you step 1, step 2, what you need. Tells you everything you need. How to prepare your equipment, how to prepare your food, how to pack it. Okay, dry pack, sugar pack, syrup pack. Remember we talked all that? Here's your, okay, right there, you can stop. That tells you how much, like 10% syrup is a half a cup of sugar, 4 cups of water, and blah, blah, blah. And then your headspace is gonna tell you how much headspace you need. Okay, now you can scroll down, and then how to store it. All right, you wanna go back? You just get that. And then, so let's dry some peaches. Let's just go through that. All right, dried peaches. So do peaches, dried, yeah. Same thing, blah, 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 blah. See, dry 140 and 3-4 hours. Total drying time is gonna be 36 to 48 hours. They do take a while. Those, pineapples. Those were, that was like 18 hours. Okay?
Does it matter how thin you cut them, I guess?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And then do a veggie. Choose a veggie.
Tomato.
Tomatoes, okay. Tomatoes are kind of their own thing, but that's
Yeah.
alright. But you can still do it. So same thing, you can freeze them, dry them, can them, or pickle them. So pick one. What do you want?
Canning.
We want to can some tomatoes. Alright, and then they even give you the recipes.
Oh, okay.
That's nice.
and then for your dried fruits, did you put a mandolin or did you do that by hand?
Oh, no. I have a slicer.
They're so perfect. I was like, wow, they're all.
And this was the first time I used the slicer, because I usually do cut them by hand. And the lemons and the limes are a little thin in my preference. Who has that piece of lime?
I just handed it off. I don't see it.
It's a little thin. And then the orange, if you want to look at the oranges, I cut them a little bit thicker. I cut these a little bit thicker and I think they come out a little nicer.
Okay. Cool. I've seen you that ad making Christmas cards.
Oh,
That was-
yeah.
I was just thinking the same thing, but you don't can't do anything else with it.
And something else I thought of too is like you could put this in your simmer pot,
Oh, yeah.
with some cloves and some cinnamon.
Somebody gave me one of those for a little Christmas gift, some of that, some cloves, some.
And then you can do it with or without the rice. So like here's, this one I just cut it and put it in, and this one I peeled it and put it in. You're welcome to take any of these. if you
So
want.
do you have the 9 drawer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really good. I didn't have this yet.
Yeah, the only one I'd ask you not to open it would be the mushroom one.
Okay.
Open it. But the other ones, you're welcome to open them. Don't open my tomatoes. This is a tomato sauce. This is my San Marzanos. I just harvested some of those today out of the greenhouse.
What are they?
San Marzano.
The long, chunky ones? I have seeds for those. I need to do them next year, yeah.
Okay. If you need more seeds, let me know. I got.
Oh, good.
But that's, yeah.
That's what they had in Italy. So
Mhm.
I buy a can of tomatoes there and I'm like, they have this a little longer.
Mhm. But yeah, this is my last, I got 2 more of these, because I didn't know if I was even gonna get any this year.
Yeah, I can't wait to try
And I
to.
saved these for my pizza, because I have a pizza. Thank you. And then, this is the pineapple that I did for canning. And, I guess I should show, okay. So, yeah, I forgot to show you can. This is a veggie, this is a Korean, it's Korean cowboy candy, because I use Korean peppers. So it's Korean cowboy candy. And you can open it if you want to eat it, go ahead. They're really good. And then I did the tomato sauce and then the fruit. This really came out nice. It's hard to find. I only eat Dole pineapple because I spent 6.5 years in Hawaii, so I only eat Dole pineapple. And it's hard to find Dole pineapple. So.
That pineapple is good. I'm gonna do that. Next time it comes on sale.
Uh-huh.
I like that.
And so they had, I go to the commissary or somewhere to have it.
Because you know, a Jim by the jar.
I'm just telling you.
Can't peaches. Yes. They're $10.
Oh.
Yeah.
So there's a big video.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can get one that hasn't been touched by anybody. Yeah, and so if you want some pineapple, here, do you want pineapple? Oh, and then here is I'm taking up your phone.
Oh, no, you're fine. I don't think they'll kick us out.
This is Ball, the one that makes these jars, Ball Preserve, the blue book. This is like, they've had this thing like forever. I don't know what edition this is. Anyway, I think it's the newest one, and you can get it on Amazon, or you can get it like at Walmart, like I did. I'm sorry, what was it? And, Laura also does these classes, the Ristras. And it's another way to preserve the harvest, because you're gonna take those peppers and string them up and let them dry out. And you can actually, that's how they used to hang them like that so they could preserve them and use them throughout the winter. And now they're more decorations, but that's another good way to preserve the harvest. You can incorporate some art, some culture. Preserve your food, all of it. And then another thing I did.
You were just teasing me putting that thing up there.
So if I grind this stuff up, then I can package it into these little things. Or like this is my friend, he mixes he'll grind stuff up and put it in salt, and then you have like a jalapeno sauce. And you could do that with the lime. Oh, and another thing you could do with these end pieces is you can grind them up and put them in vinegar and make like citrus cleaner.
Oh.
Here, let me have your cake.
Don't make
Sorry, I'm minded in theater.
We've known each other for a long time.
And that. You're shorter than me. Why is your cane so tall?
I got the table, I can hold on to the table.
There you go.
And I can do a ton of things with this stick, it's quite impressive. So, anyway, freeze drying. Are you all familiar with what freeze drying is? Have you seen the commercials for machines or anything?
I saw them on the web, and they're really expensive.
Yeah, they're stupid expensive.
Yeah. It looked like a great idea until I saw the price. And then,
It took us a while before we got ours.
yeah, there's some of my grandkids brought me some freeze-dried candy.
Yes,
And
I
that
love
was
that.
pretty good stuff.
Yeah, they love that. I don't do freeze dried candy because I'd be afraid I'd eat too much of it.
Yeah.
But I do freeze dry everything else. The machine is a big box. They come in small, medium, large, extra large, jumbo large, and even bigger than that large. And they're ridiculously expensive. But depending on your point of view, they're a lot of fun and you can do a lot with them, a lot of stuff with them. They're great for long-term storage. Astronaut food, 25 years. So you can freeze dry pretty much anything. Storage can vary. If products have more sugar or more fat, their long-term storage is less. Chocolate would have a short shelf life because of the fat and the sugar in it. So there is a learning curve. There's a lot of stuff on the internet. We started watching when we first got started, a guy, and his title is Retired After 40. And he has a lot of good information. We got a ton of information from him before we bought ours, just to get some of the basics. The machines can be temperamental. And if you have repairing skills, that's very handy. My husband Steve is good at that. We had to replace a valve. We had to download some software when we first got it over the course of the first few months. But it's been flawless for the last several years. We have a medium and it has 4 trays. And you want to put in light product because they all have different drying times. So I usually do one type of thing each load. Now, I brought a wide variety of samples. You can put some on a paper towel. It will dry your mouth if you eat them. And you will just get water. I've got asparagus, beef taco mix, chicken taco, Pueblo chilies, and when they dry out, they can give a kick. Some corn, my personal favorite, cheesecake bites. This is a scrambled egg, pepper and onion mix. Just shredded chicken. Did I bring 2? Yes, I did. Strawberries and green beans. Now, I have a gazillion more things that we've done. And probably I have a lot. I have a tendency to overdo things. So, what are you going to do? We have a lot of food. So, and I also I also freeze. So there's a nice balance of things. And I know a lot of people that only are freeze drying, and they're thinking, end of the world type stuff. And they think, well, I've got enough food, but something they overlook is water. So you need to rehydrate all this stuff. So you need to have water. So this is where a balance of different types of things comes in handy. Now, I was eating things I'm a little dry. Deb was talking about not doing pressure canning. And I've been pressure canning for a long time, but I've never done meat until the last year or so. So I'm canning beef and chicken chunks in beef and chicken broth. I have water. I also can all the vegetables, potatoes, and all that kind of stuff. So just to try it all out, I took a can of my chicken, a can of my potatoes, some vegetables, and made a truly remarkable soup. So when, like in COVID, she mentioned, it's hard to get food. So I have a lot of these kind of supplies on hand where I don't have to worry about it. We won't even talk about what I have for toilet paper. So it does take time for these, for preparation. I do almost everything cooked. The only thing that I've done raw is I did do some raw eggs. But otherwise, you can eat this and drink water, you can and mix it with water. Some things do better with warm water, some things do better with cold water. There's a ton of reading that you can do on it for each product. And they take a while to process, so like Deb was talking about freezing on trays. So here I've got some corn. I just put it all on the tray, froze it. You can freeze them right on the tray that goes in the freeze dryer. This, almost everything is one tray in the freeze dryer. So I try not to put in too much because like Deb mentioned, a single serving kind of thing. So you don't want to put in too much if you're not going to use it, because the minute you open these, they start to reabsorb water. Now for packing them, they're packed in these Mylar bags, and they recommend oxygen absorbers. I put one in these quart bags, except I had some little ones, so I put in two. Apparently I put three in this batch. And because the minute they, do you need something, Patricia?
No, I don't need anything. I just wonder about the nutritional loss.
Perfect, there's none.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, just the same that there would be in cooking, except the corn is raw, the meat is cooked. This taco meat is the first time, and this is new for me, this is the first time I tasted it, it's really good. And then, of course, I tried that.
No, that's okay. That'd be great for camping.
Great, super, a lot of people use them for camping, hiking things.
I wonder if you could just boil the water and pour it into one of the bags
You sure can.
and then rehydrate it like that. Yeah,
Yeah, they're,
that's what I do when we go,
you can
go
buy,
backpacking.
you can buy bags that are gusseted on the bottom and they'll stand up. So those are easier to use for that kind of thing. This is my favorite bag. It's just 1 quart. Works good for
Or you
me.
could just stand it up somehow. I mean,
You can, yeah. So it works pretty good. There's a lot of things you can do with this. We've had ours for a while, and I'm real pleased with it. I love the desserts. I love these cheesecake bites. I've done ice cream sandwiches, and the kids just love them.
Is it like astronaut ice cream?
Yes.
We used to get as kids.
Except
Yeah.
that the sandwiches, you cut them in, little squares, put them on the tray, and now those kind of things, because they have sugar and stuff, will take longer. Things with seeds take longer, like the strawberries, they can take forever. I tried blueberries. They were a disaster because all the moisture just got sucked right out of them, and they were like skin. I didn't like those at all. Now, some people have better luck, but it didn't work well for me.
so is there different settings on the freeze dry?
She's kind of automatic.
It doesn't dry things slowly or faster? Or
Well, you put them in frozen, and the machine chills them to like -20, -30 kind of thing for a certain amount of time, and the machine does it automatic. And
That
then
amount of money, the machine should be.
it should be automatic. So then it goes into freeze drying. So it's got a vacuum pump, and it literally, while they're frozen, sucks the air and the moisture right out of the food. And the ice builds up around the wall of the machine. It's pretty fun to watch. It does take a while. 24 hours is pretty average. Things with seeds like the strawberries, the beans I do longer because they have seeds in them. They're just little tiny things with their own shells, so they take longer to suck that water out.
But did you say you start out with frozen, you put it in, it's already frozen?
Yeah, it's faster. You can put it at room temperature, but it'll add a couple extra hours to the process. The machine does use a lot of electricity, but I don't find it outrageous. The machine has to be kept at a certain temperature. Mine's in my dining room, and if it gets warm, right under the vent for the swamp cooler, and it'll tell you that you're getting a warm room warning. So you just turn on the swamp cooler in a couple minutes, it's good. It'll take longer in a warm room, but it'll still work. Am I missing anything?
No, just that that's Heidi's favorite is the corn.
Oh, yeah, my granddaughter Heidi loves the corn.
And everybody loves the strawberries.
And, yeah, strawberries, they're
Does she rehydrate it or just eat
No,
it
she
like
just
that?
Oh, yeah, just like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
It's good.
It looks kind of like corn nuts.
yeah,
The most
Oh,
wonderfully
yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah.
it's, they're really tasty. So I didn't bring a ton of extra plates, but if you guys wanna come up, like you're thinking about more questions and we can keep talking, go get a napkin and try some stuff and make sure you got water or run the water.
And you can take samples of some of my stuff up
Yeah,
there too if
just
you want.
load up your